are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced and get happy with Dr. Marissa. And this show is about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have shows and topics.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days.
Monday, Tuesday,
Happy days.
Wednesday, Thursday,
Happy days.
Friday, whatever.
Happy days.
What a day. Na-na-na, na-na-na.
I love you.
I love you too.
Best known as the mom from Happy Days, and she is a delightful 89-year young Marion Ross to my studio. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Dr. Marissa, this is such a treat for me. Oh. My goodness, you're a wonderment.
Which is exactly the kind of guest that I like. Those who have gone through life, good and bad, and then taken those experiences to alchemize them into the person they are now and doing good on the planet. I'd like you to welcome Corey Feldman.
If you're grateful for it and you say right away, thank you, God. Oh, my God, it's so beautiful. I'm so blessed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Then guess what? More good things will come to you.
Does this sound familiar at all? She's back again to mark my Cancer Awareness and Prevention Month show. Please welcome Fran Drescher. Hi, Fran.
On and supporting cancer schmance. I really appreciate it.
So what would you say are some of the biggest myths, Fran, that people have about cancer?
Well, I would say that they think that there's a cure for it.
Okay.
Instead of a cause for it.
This is the first call-in show when I get to be Dr. Marissa, the kinder, gentler Dr. Laura. And people call in to get their life tires balanced and their critical thinking or their BS, their belief systems, smog checked. And today I am delighted to have Malie calling in from Birmingham, Alabama.
We could go 90 days and end up having terrible sex. And then you say, well, the relationship's not all about sex. Well, if I'm not getting great sex from you, then I'm going to get it from somebody else. Right?
That moose just got put on the table. And I see Josh and Jim.
I have to agree
You're
with Clyde.
both nodding. Ramon's sort of half nodding because his wife's listening. But
I understood what was going to happen if Muhammad Ali's youngest daughter, made public that I was going to become a boxer. So I wanted to make sure this was the path that I wanted to go down.
You are absolutely fabulous, beautiful inside and out. And I'm giving you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award today.
Thank you.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic point.
When I go, I'm gone.
Are you lonely?
No.
Nah, I knew that was going to be
But
the answer.
I surround myself with people. I mean, I'm always the one cooking for things. Or I'm always the one that decorates first and come to my house. All the orphans that have no place.
I'm going to have no place to go, so I can come over.
Come on over.
And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio station KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, home to the Asian Oprah, and let's see, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Podchaser, Spreaker, Rumble, and more. Why so many places? I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So there's no gossip here, no scandal, and no K-words, no Kanye talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have topics and guests. We've had just a plethora of interesting topics. We've had cancer research doctors who have discovered or isolated amino acids that feed the cancer cells. And we've had beautiful Marion Ross, the mom that a lot of us grew up with in Happy Days. She came on again for the second time at age 94. And what a blessing it is and was and continues to be. And if you missed anything that sounds at least tempting, you can go to my YouTube channel, free subscribe, and get any one of the 970 shows, 572 consecutive weeks now on the air in my 11th year. And I'm so grateful that you're still here with me. And especially since this last year, we implemented co-hosts and co-stars for the shows. And one of my most popular co-hosts is, of course, my Friday Tempting Conversations with Dr. Marissa and
Elan Carter. Good morning.
Yay! Good morning. Welcome back. She is the daughter of Otis Williams, the founder of Temptations, ergo Tempting Conversation. She's way more than that. Playmate, model, dancer. She was a dancer on Soul Train. Was it Soul Train? Yeah, Soul Train. and there's so much. Lots of different things. And so welcome back to the studio. Welcome back to the studio, Elan. So glad that you're here.
You talk about Soul Train and I say American Bandstand. People are like, oh, wait, how long ago was that?
Well, you're ageless like I am ageless. So that's where we're going with that. So we're going to have breakfast together as I continue my workout. It's so funny. I don't know if you sweat a lot after you work out. I mean, I sweat when I work out, but even afterwards, it's like my body's still going, and I'm not complaining because it's good, because my metabolism is obviously working through some of the food that I had yesterday. Yes. But if you see, I'm not crying yet. I'm just blotting. So I glisten. I don't sweat. I glisten.
You're shiny.
So we're going to start off with breakfast, which is taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. 8 specific things on the top of the bun that you're grateful for, 8 specific things at the bottom of the bun that you appreciate about yourself. And I see we have eyeballs already in. Yay! Maria is here from the Cashew Gallery. You beautiful ladies, I will say that in Morocco, I learned that you see beauty because you are beauty. So you're beautiful because you see beauty, Maria. And I'm grateful that I learned that in Morocco. So that's my second gratitude. Elan, go for it. You get to catch up with 2 gratitudes.
I'm grateful that I got here on time this morning.
I heard that click, when someone comes in the virtual studio, and I'm like, I guess I thought Polly just came in.
That was me. And I'm also grateful that I came up with something at 10 o'clock last night. She knows what I'm talking about.
Good Lord Almighty.
Yes.
But it's great. We're going to talk about, should we take back your ex, not your ex or my ex, but the general topic. You don't. Anyways, we're going to talk about that aspect of freedom as we come up on the holiday weekend celebrating freedom. I thought that was a nice application topic. But go ahead. Let's see. You got here on time, and you got a topic. Maria, what are you grateful for, or what do you appreciate? We'll flash yours up here. So I am grateful that I have a gym in my building, so I don't have to get dressed and get in a car and go anywhere. That's like so nice. That way I can just, unconsciously roll out of bed and roll down there before my mind has a chance to think about it and object to going to the gym.
Exactly. I have a Peloton. I just look at it. But on that note, I am grateful that Trace has a show at the Mint tonight. I'm super excited.
Ooh, that's right. That's
I'm super excited.
Yeah. Where is the Met? It's in Hollywood, right?
No, it's in West LA. So it's off of Pico Boulevard.
Okay. I'm going to try to hit 2 events tonight. I'm one of the sponsors of there's a fundraiser for Spirit Awakening, and my satellite sister, Akuyo Graham, who you have to meet sometime. She's incredible. This organization works with juveniles, right? That and gets them to a place where it's not just rehabilitate. It's incredible. And the cool thing, and the reason why I don't say no K words Kardashian talk anymore is because she asked me not to say that, because Kim Kardashian has actually been tremendously generous, both in money, energy, and she's actually worked physically with Spirit Awakening kids, in incarcerated kids. So I'm so grateful that I can now say just Kanye.
Trace just attended an event last month. And I mean, she said there were some heavyweights, that there were so many people at this event that Kim has. He's like Celine Dion was there. He was having a conversation with Brooke Shields. He comes home. He goes, "Mom, do you know who this lady named Brooke? She was a child star." And I go, "What's her last name?" He goes, "Shields." I go, "She's a superstar. You were talking to her." But he's like, there were like bodyguards and armed people like bringing people up in the elevator. So it was for that particular event. And I think that she raised a lot of money, but he's saying it was a lot of heavyweights. So kudos to Kim, because she's really putting in the work and she's doing very well.
Which is exactly why I don't say Kardashian talk, just a Kanye talk. It's also funny because there's people in the building. No, I don't have those glasses. My Pradas, when I have those on, they say I look like the mom. Which is kind of funny.
Kris Jenner. Yeah, because with the haircut.
Yeah, pretty funny. We got a heart from Maria. Oh, we have a gratitude from Maria. Awesome. I'm grateful that I woke up this morning to enjoy a new day. Fantastic. That is number 5. So we, if you do another one, then we only get one more. So each. I am grateful that I am working on my second film, and it is, I haven't worked out a title yet, but I'm capturing the nuggets from an 88-year-old man, Otis Williams, who has spent his life teaching how to get out of racism and prejudice in a way that I've never really. It's so powerful. So I wanted to capture that in a short film. So I'm grateful that I'm actually seeing some progress. It's trying to fit that in with everything else that I get to do has been an opportunity. So I'm grateful for that. Elan.
I'm grateful that I joined an amazing luxury home real estate team called Heart Courts in Beverly Hills that sells high-end property. So anyone that wants a big fancy house, you must come. Call me. And matter of fact, the guy his name is Glenn. He's fantastic, beautiful soul. He's came here from Australia and started this company, and they're all over the country. And we're going to bring him on the show soon.
Yay.
He knows all the ins and outs all over the country, how the market is, what's going on now. So I spoke to him, and he would love to come on the show. So we're going to get a date together because you're going to like him. He's just very positive affirmations. It's just the way he talks, and it's not, you're not getting the guy next door talking about real estate. He's all about what we talk about on a daily basis, what we're grateful for, writing your goals down, positive things for your life to attract and manifest. That's all you would really like this guy. So,
is he single?
No, he's married. He has 3 boys and a daughter, beautiful kids too. I mean, really gorgeous kids. His kids are in a band also. They perform all the time. So they're a bit younger than Trace, but very talented kids. You'll like their music. They're like country pop, and they sing and play acoustic guitar. Really cool. So I'm grateful that I got to meet them.
Yeah. I'll do the final gratitude. I'm grateful that I get to invite anyone who has any thoughts about money these days, whether you want to make more or whether you want to invest in something safer than stocks these days. July 8th, I've convinced my Asian big brother, John Shin, to allow my friends, listeners, watchers, supporters to go to his estate in Calabasas on July the 8th. It's a full day. It's usually $2,000 to have this workshop. It's free, and he serves lunch. So if you want to go, drmarissa.life. Unfortunately, it's London's birthday, so Elan won't be there. But Sam will be there, my co-host from Thursdays, and you will get a lot of really good information. If you want to, you just Google John Shin. He's a multimillionaire several times over, the producer of Think and Grow Rich, all of that good stuff. I've been putting him on my social media. So hope to see you July 8th. Go to drmarissa.life, and I'll send you the registration link, and I get to meet you there. So that is my last gratitude. Let's go to the bottom of the bun, which is we've got a bonus. I'm grateful that I'm motivated and keep losing weight, reaching my goal. So that's actually an appreciation. So yay. Let's give her a little love. What was that?
Great. I said she looks really good.
Yeah, the photo is beautiful, and I appreciate that I also have lost 35 pounds, and I kept it, I come up a little, go down a little, but I've kept that off now for, since February. My year was February. So I appreciate that I have the discipline to continue to work out and eat things that are more healthy than not. What do you appreciate about yourself, Elan?
I can't say anything about my goals about losing weight because I like to eat.
You don't need to lose weight, Missy.
I'm grateful that somebody posted on social media an In-N-Out Burger new menu, secret menu. I shouldn't say this since you guys are losing weight. And it's called the Flying Dutchman, and it was delicious. And I discovered it and ate it a couple times this week.
What is it?
It's called the Flying Dutchman at In-N-Out Burger. I am grateful that I discovered it because it's darn on delicious.
What's in it?
In-N-Out has a secret menu. And so it's a cheeseburger. You can get it without cheese. And it has grilled onion on it. So instead of being wrapped in like a protein style lettuce, you wrap it in the grilled onions, the pickles. And it's delicious. I'm grateful I discovered it.
Well, I can still have that. Like it's without the gut.
Right. And it tastes like a cheesesteak. I'm giving In-N-Out Burger a plug, but it's really good. It's my new favorite thing. And I don't really eat cheeseburgers. I eat them like every 6 months, but I did cheat. I got people in the house stuck on them. I'm sorry for people that are not on the East Coast. I don't think they don't have In-N-Out Burger. You know,
They
we
don't?
ran. No, I think it's a big deal for us in California, the West Coast. We only have In-N-Out Burger. But when you guys come, you must try.
Yeah, no, unless you're trying to lose weight. So
No, you can do it. It doesn't have. You do it without the bread.
That's true. I appreciate that. I attract beautiful people who are beautiful inside and out. We've got two right here, Maria and Elan.
Well, beauty recognizes beauty. Didn't you just tell me that? So I'm grateful that you discovered that, and I like that saying. And Goldie's been using it too. That's my gratitude.
Oh, yay!
She says that all the time. She loves that.
Really? Oh, she's my family, my
Yes.
friend's family. I just love her. All right. Let's see. I appreciate. Oh, she said thank you. I thought you were gonna do. Oh, here we go. Oh no, we did that one already. Anyways, last appreciation. I appreciate that I can do a lot of things that I really juice my life. I am absolutely appreciate that I can say that if I died, not that I want to die, but if I died like tonight in my sleep.
Don't say that.
Well, no, I mean, I say it in the way that I have no regrets. Like I have lived life to the fullest. I've grabbed life by the cojones and squeezed.
We're ageless. We're gonna live way until the hundreds. They're gonna come out with some new, like a cure for aging, and we're gonna live longer. That's what I'm gonna.
Yeah, that's you know what my point is that I really have lived. I'm so appreciative of my ability to take advantage of life. That's what I appreciate. Last one, Elan.
I appreciate that I have two beautiful kids who are so amazing. I'm a daughter who I'm super proud of. She's turning 15, straight A student. Have a son who has musical talent that I don't have. I appreciate that. And an amazing mom who is very supportive, and she tolerates all our shenanigans in the house. I appreciate and I'm grateful.
Yay! And that's it for taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich for breakfast. And I promise that if you do this continuously for 28 days, your days will be wrapped in the most positive way. Thank you for joining us on it. I love my life. I love my life. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. You sing, I dance. Remember, we're a team. I'm not singing.
You're dancing. You're dancing. We got to do the happy dance.
I'm always happy. If I'm eating, well, I have coffee this morning, so I'm happy. And if I'm eating, I'm happy. Oh, yeah. Wait, the other way. There you go.
All right. All right. I can tell the mood is good, high, and silly this morning. If you've just tuned in and wondering what's going on in studio, we are talking about, well, we're in a special series called Tempting Conversations with Dr. Marissa and
Elan Carter.
And what we're talking about today is,
should you take your ex back? Please, ex
That's what we are talking about.
Yeah, no, it's the circumstances. Depends on, you have that boyfriend that you had, like it's your first love when you're kids, right? And you probably did silly, stupid stuff. And you might see them 20 years later and then you rekindle that. That's kind of usually an okay situation. But when you become adult and have responsibilities, and the circumstances could change why you take them back. Sometimes it could just be the timing was off. You guys had different things going on in your life and it just didn't work out. And then there could be some like not good things that happen. And usually when the not good things happen, that's usually when you don't take them back, because they're not going to change if they were conscious of doing what they did in the first place. Right. That's so it depends. I want your opinion because it depends on the circumstances.
Yes, it does. What's interesting, I just pulled up, how I like to research real time on the show, and I put in the Google search line, what percentage of high school sweethearts get back together, and the first thing I look down here, it says, where did it go? What percentage of high school relationships last down here? But there was, here we go. This was funny. Tips for divorcing your high school. I'm like, oh, that's
divorce
funny.
tips. I came up totally.
You've shared so many first. Blah, blah, blah. Unfortunately, the reality isn't quite as idyllic. The divorce rate for high school sweethearts is 54% during the first 10 years of marriage. Interesting.
Well, because I think that when you get married young, you're just too young to get married, period. You're not mature enough. You haven't experienced life. So that's why I think a lot of times people get married or rekindle their relationship when they start hitting their 40s. Maybe they were together in their early 20s, and then, their 40s, they might rekindle that relationship. You're too young to get married in your 20s most of the time. Especially if you're living in big cities. I think big cities have a lot to do with it. If you're living like New York or California, Chicago, the big cities, I think there's too many things you could do, and you're career oriented. I think you need to get your career together, because the number one thing that break relationships up is finance. If you're not secure, you're not going to stay together. So if you get married and you start having kids and you guys don't have any money, 9 times out of 10, you're going to break up, because that is the security and the foundation. Because if you think about it, if we're talking about marriage, not boyfriend and girlfriend, marriage is a business. And if you don't treat it like a business with your partner, you're not going to stay together, right? If you're dating and you have an ex and they cause you grief, don't go back with them. Like, you can have things that break you up, but if you went through any grief, don't get back with that person. Because, I don't know. I believe that they'll cause you grief again. If they thought enough to hurt your heart, they'll do it again. If it's something not good, it depends. It depends, I think.
It does depend. That's always my line. I remember working with a client, and, one day he said to me, could you just have a one-armed situation? And the reason why I said that, because I was always saying on the one hand and on the other hand. So he's like, can we just have a one-armed conversation? I was always making him look at like system-wide, the big picture. Right. So anyways, it does depend. And the one scenario I will put on there is, if you're a person that's saying, I keep going back, they keep pulling me back, right? Mm-hmm. And I know some people intimately right now who are going through this, where you date someone, they do something that is controlling, or it doesn't sit well with you. And so you go, and I've done this myself. I tried to leave my Wasband 6 times, like literally 6 times. And I would, say, okay, I'm leaving him. I'm going to take care of myself. This is wrong. They shouldn't treat me like this. And then I'd break up, and then I'd say, you need therapy. And he went to therapy, and then called and said, I've gone to therapy. Now we can get back together. And I was smart enough to say, no, you still need to go to therapy. But then a friend of ours died suddenly of a heart attack. And so I was feeling vulnerable and sad, and called him. And next thing you know, we're back together. So it's one of those, if you yourself haven't worked with your emotional oversized baggage around self-worth, then you will be in a pattern, maybe not with the same person, but being with people who don't affirm your value. Okay. So if you're a person that's listening and saying, yes, you should give them another chance, or no, but you seem to always have relationships where people are shirting on you. If your partner is constantly either cheating on you or treating you poorly, and you're complaining all the time about the same person or different people, I would stop venting and take a second to look at what part of you is attracting the same kind of negative
same energy. Yes. A lot of times you get into the cycle of not putting yourself first. Well, first of all, you got to put yourself first. You got to love yourself first, and not tolerating. And I think, one of the reasons, in my opinion, that men like younger women, I think we tolerate a lot as women the way we're taught in society. And by the time we start hitting late 30s to early 40s, we're like, that's it. We're done. We don't care. And so because we don't tolerate the bull crap anymore, they don't want to deal with you. And then they're like, oh, you're crazy, or you're going through menopause, whatever excuse they have, because you set boundaries. When you're young, you know, it's not because you're stupid when you're young. It's not because you don't know. You're just afraid to rock the boat because you want that person to like you. You want acceptance. And you're still going through that learning about yourself, that self-perseverance of love and acceptance and how do I look? And you get to an age where you just don't care. And that's when people or men lose interest, because a lot of times they don't want to look at themselves at all. It's always the woman. 9 times, very few men, unless men that I've found that are raised around a lot of women, most of them are raised with that mentality, and they don't think there's anything wrong with it. Only the men that are raised around a lot of women think differently, right? Then they have more sensitivity that, I don't want my sister to go through that. And the men that act like that are selfish, end up having daughters. That's my dog. I'm sorry. So, he's validating what I'm saying. He's preaching.
He's providing validation. Yeah.
That's the one that doesn't ever bark. But that made me lose my thought. Yeah, no, I was just saying that I think that men, they always want women to get therapy. I think that with some of their behavior, because men take longer to mature, makes a woman come out of character. It makes her come out of being a woman. So a lot of times if you get married young, you have kids, then you got to be the man, you got to be the cook, you got to be the therapist, you got to be the educator, you're doing all the work because they make you come out of yourself. You have to go and you have to be the provider, when you want to be the woman and be the feminine energy to stay home and be that woman that's raising their kids, right? Because it takes a lot of work that they don't want to do, but they make you come out of who you are. And so then they tell, oh, you're acting crazy. Well, because you're frustrated because you got to do 50 things. So I think that breaks up the relationships. And I think that they don't realize. A friend of mine who, he grew up a little rough, but he has a son. He's got 2 older kids, but he's raising his son by himself, like the mother, which is unusual. It was a mom who just doesn't want anything to do with the kid. And his whole mentality, he said, has changed, right? This was a hard guy, playboy. He's like, oh my God. And his son has some special needs. And because of that, he's like stay home 24/7 dad. He goes, my whole attitude changed. This is not easy work, but it takes men to go through that to understand, and have sensitivity.
Yeah, true. Maria says, I know the her husband, I'm guessing, will not change. He told me he was not responsible for having panic attacks. So that says he has not accepted his part in why we can't be. Yes. And this is a shift that I have made because of practicing the law of attraction. And we grow up thinking that people make us feel or make us have what we have. So we grow up with mothers that say, if you picked up after yourself, it would make me happy. Or you're making me mad when you do that. And so we learn that we think we have power, right, to make someone feel good or bad. When really, if I am a pure law of attraction person, I am the boss of how I feel. I'm even the boss, and this is going to be sound a little bit, I'm not criticizing you for panic attacks. I'm not saying that they're not real. I'm not saying that you didn't have a reaction, right, to whatever was happening. And I think that, your husband is a husband for a good reason. But I will say that I have now learned that when someone does something to trigger me or someone says something for me to react to, I own that reaction. So if I'm having some fear and anxiety based on what they did, my old way of saying was, you need to stop saying that. You need to stop doing that because you're making me crazy. You're making me fearful. It's your problem. Blame, 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 blame. That's cut you out of my life. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Now I say, let me just finish this part because it is a bit of a controversial thing, right? So now I say, okay, that was not nice what you just said. That was not nice what you just did. I'm just going to walk away now because I want to get back into balance with who I really am. And I'm going to own my reaction because I want to be happy 88% of the time. And if I'm not feeling good about what you said, I am letting myself get out of alignment. So it's my responsibility. I don't want you, if you want to continue saying those things, go ahead. But the consequence is I ain't going to be around to receive it because I know that I'm the boss of my feelings. So we talked about this yesterday in Get Happy Hour. If someone continues to push your buttons, take your button out of the physical space that they can push it. If someone's getting your goat, hide your goat. Go in the barn with your goat.
I somewhat agree with that, Dr. Marissa, because I think it's the circumstances. You're independent, you have a career, you're working. A lot of women, including myself, who I had a career and I gave up my career to moved to Europe, got married, had kids, and stopped working. And so when you have someone who's being controlling and putting you in circumstances like Maria is saying, and pushing your buttons and have behavior that puts you in situations that can sometimes be life-threatening or to the point where you don't know where you're going or coming and you don't have any resources, you can't necessarily get out that situation. You have to try to figure out how to get out that situation, because usually that behavior comes when someone knows they've get you in a situation that they can be controlling. And when you react because you panic, and you do panic because you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I relied on you for all this time. You've been the person that I look up to, that I admire, that I thought you were always going to take care of me. This is what we agreed to. And all of a sudden you shifted gears. And most of the time it's because they're interested in someone else, even though they won't say that, because when their feelings change, they won't admit that. They'll just call you crazy because everything you do in the way you're responding is crazy to them, because you're coming out of who you are. Of course, your behavior changes because what they did is wrong and you're freaking out because you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do now? So that is why it's sometimes hard for certain women. And I say, and I knew this when I moved to Europe. Don't ever stop doing what you're doing. Don't ever stop working. And I tell my daughter, always have your career, even if you are married and you have kids, and always have your career, because you give up your power. And when you give up your power, that's when men get like that. And I don't care. I've watched, my mom was married for 30 years. Men can lose interest, especially when even though we're ageless, sometimes, a lot of times it doesn't happen, but a lot of times it does. And they're not going to admit and say, hey, I'm interested in somebody else. Their behavior changes. And then you're crazy. And you can tell, you don't have to catch someone cheating. By their pattern is different. How they look at you is different. A woman is very intuitive. So what you're saying is true, but on the other hand, you have to understand not everyone is Dr. Marissa who can walk out the situation. And I know so many women who get caught like that. Like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Because I have no way to get out this situation, right? Then you look for friends to help you and family, and they're like, well, they think it's your fault. Right. And if you have the person that's always been the provider, if you have the person that's always been there and they're the ones that people admire, they don't side with the women. They side with the person that's been the breadwinner because they think, oh, well, that's the golden ticket right there. Why are you tripping? You've never had a problem before.
Yeah. Okay. I absolutely agree with you. And I absolutely
just saying for
know
Maria
and acknowledge that it's not that simple. It's not that easy. And not everyone is in my situation. But I want to also say that it took me 6 times to leave Elan, even though I was the one making the money. For me, the part that is the point that I hope that people are hearing is not about, it is about making sure that you're not in that pattern that 7 out of 10 of us are, where you grow up with childhood trauma. Okay. Yeah. You didn't, I did. And because I grew up with that, I naturally gravitated towards someone who would continue that abuse, whatever, that feeling of unworthiness. You pick people who you're comfortable because you know that feeling. So I'm not talking about, what you're saying. I think that you're absolutely right. I think it's super important for women who do give up their careers to raise children to remember that the same value that they had when they were in their career is the same value that they bring to raising their children. And that's a choice they make, and they are still the same person and can go out into the workforce or start their own business you're still that capable person. You are not a victim of someone's holding that over you. I think that BS belief system that now, a lot of my professional clients who are struggling because they want to have children, but they don't want to lose out on their career track. And my point to them is you're not losing anything. You're adding another dimension called motherhood. First 6 years, most important to me. 6 years out of your job track is not going to negatively impact you in the sense that you're going to come back with a new skill set and you're going to have magnificently more to your life with the children in addition to your career. And I don't know one career person, man or woman, who is on their deathbed and said, I wish I had done more at work. And I do hear a lot. He says, I wish I had children, right? I hear that much more as a regret. So,
and I hear men say, I wish, because my mother said my grandfather told her mother, I wish that I had treated you better.
Absolutely.
And he regretted a lot of stuff that he did. And he told my mom, not my mom, he told her mother, for what I understand, my grandfather was very handsome man, pretty boy, very wealthy. And, my grandmother was 20 years younger than him. She was 19 and he was already in his 40s when he married her. And, because I think what ends up happening, because he was, highly educated and, they probably didn't have the chemistry because of the age difference, but therefore he didn't act right. She was beautiful, but he just didn't act right. So she dealt with a lot and she ended up, passing at a young age. And I think so much of the stress, and also too, it causes a lot of stress and a lot of people end up getting sick because of the stress in relationships. And that's what I said. It's not worth your health. If you're that unhappy, someone is just making you miserable, then just leave. You will get over it. For me, I'm not one of those people that I'm a little bit different. I may get back with someone because I still have something for them. But 5 and 6 times, I'm not that person. I'm one of those people that my love is suspect. When I'm over you, I am so over you. Like, I shut down. You could look like Jason Momoa, that's my crush. You could look like him and come stand in front of me, and and he can stand there with nothing on. And if you did something that really bothered me, I want to say other things, but I can't. If you did something that bothered me, I'm not getting back with you. I don't care. I'm like, dude, you are out. Like, I just shut down. I have no feelings. So once you hurt me and I'm past it and have no emotional attachment, most of the times I may go back once. And if you make me mad and you really do something bad, I had an ex-boyfriend who actually I became friends with again recently. I didn't speak to him for 25 years, 30 years, 25 years. Because he did something that pissed me off so much that he would try to talk to me and I wouldn't talk to him. I'd see him and walk it away, pretend like I didn't even know him. I was like, who's that?
What did he do? Did he cheat on you? Did he cheat on you?
Something. It's something. But I said one thing, it took a lot for me to forgive, and I had to get mature to forgive. I did forgive, but it took a lot for me to mature and say, okay, I'm just going to let it go. They were like, I was young. I'm so sorry. And I'm cool, but I can not ever, ever be more than just your friend and get back with you. That is the thing. Like, that's it. Won't happen again.
Once you cross the line.
Yes.
Be careful.
Huh?
So I absolutely agree that it's balance, right? Yeah. It depends on the situation and it's balance.
But it's okay to get back with someone that if you really genuinely have heartfelt feelings and it just did not work out, or the timing, or maybe maybe you were together and both people were married but attracted to each other, or whatever the circumstances, if it was still like just the timing wasn't right, I think it's okay to revisit it. I'm just the kind of person that when I have that attraction right away, I usually don't have it ever again. That's just me.
What? Wait, what? If you have that attraction.
If I initially am attracted to someone and really like them and I dated them, if I see them 20 years later, I could be their friend. I'm not attracted to them again. But my friend, one of my best friends said that she's like, I've never seen anyone who has such suspect love. So if I'm with you, you better treat me right the first time or I'm done.
Long memory. I'm the same way.
I'm angry. I just don't like you anymore. I'm like, oh, well.
Yeah, I'm the same way. If you do something or say something that I can understand, if I do something to piss you off, you have every right to come back at me. But if I've done nothing and you come at me, I have a long memory, and it's not a good thing. This is not a good trait, because I dispose of people that way, like, pretty quickly, because I don't want to put my goat out there to have it done again, which is actually part self-care. But it's an extreme. So what the happy 88 tool is when to hold and when to fold. So if I have been shirted on, and I go, okay, so that didn't feel good. I didn't like that, and that was 10 years ago. And I meet them again. Do I give them a chance to become friends or get close again? That question, and I tell my kids this all the time, if you bring that person back into your life, you have to change your own BS, your own belief system, your own glasses, okay, that you see that person through. If you can't take that past, what they did to you, if you can't take those off, don't have the relationship.
Right.
It's not
You're
fair.
right. You gotta let it go. If you can't let go what happened, it's not going to work. Whatever the circumstance was and why it didn't work out. And even if that person was with someone else, you can't let that come into play. Oh, you were dating that. Well, what happened? Don't bring up past relationships. And when you get into a relationship, what I did before I met you has nothing to do with you. How was I know I was going to get with you in the first place? What do you care for? I don't care who you were with before me, right? And so I don't think you bring past relationships, into why it didn't work out, or just don't get back with them. I had a theme song my friends would say to me when I was like done. They would sing Another One Bites the Dust. And we would sit at the table, right? And if I was with someone and I was over it, and they could tell I was over it, my friends would go, doom, 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 because they knew, they were like, this one's in trouble.
And no wonder we're friends. No wonder we're friends. Yeah, it's that balance between staying too long or leaving too fast. And I think that we've all, the last generation maybe stayed too long. This generation maybe is leaving too fast. The balance is
doesn't even get into relationships. I was with Trace at rehearsal last night, and the guys, they're all young guys in their 20s, and they're talking about dating. And he's like, yeah, he goes, I really like this girl. She came to one of my shows. I was so freaked out. I couldn't even play the drums. I'm like, well, what happened? I hooked up with her and she just dumped me and didn't have anything to do with it. It was the reverse, because the women are like the dudes. And he goes, oh, well, she just wasn't one of the other band members. So she just wanted to hook up. I go, these kids just hook up? I go, you guys don't have any relationships. And the guy was saying, well, I was raised by a lot of my mom and my sisters, and I want a relationship, but the girls now want to hook up. I said, so when you get 40 and nobody wants you, and not that 40 is very young, I said, you're not going to be hooking up at 40 because no one wants to hook up at that age. What are you going to do, right? You want someone that you can have a relationship with. But the young kids were trying to explain to me, and I think all the apps that, you could just swipe, I think that's messed a lot of things up, because no one's having relationships anymore. So I don't know. I don't know if our topic today even it penetrates at all or has anything to do with anyone.
Right. Like, well, that the term premarital sex, the kids are like, what? What is that? What are you talking about?
Yeah,
it's not.
And then they have terms. Well, it takes my daughter to explain the terms where you can be in more than one relationship. They call it. I forgot what they call that.
Polyamorous.
Yes.
Polyamorous.
It's like, really? Because I would have chased you down the street with something. I don't play any of that stuff. No.
Yeah. It's a whole new world. I remember in one show.
Orville's here. Go ahead. Say
the guy. Hey, Orville in New York. Our cashew gallery is here. Elan missed you guys last Friday. She's like, where's the cashew gallery?
I know.
It's always nice having them as part of the conversation. And if you've just tuned in and you're wondering what's going on in studio today, we are talking about should we take back our ex, which is a tempting conversation with Dr. Marissa and
Elan Carter
on Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA. AM 1050, FM 106.5, streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and more. You can free subscribe to my YouTube channel to get an alert every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Thank you for making us the number one talk station in the IE, as well as 8 a.m. I am the number one talk at 8 a.m. Of course, 8 a.m. 8's my lucky number, a homonym for good fortune in Chinese. Happy upcoming 4th of July, by the way. I hope that you remember that this is a weekend that is celebrating freedom, the freedom that we have to choose how we think, how we believe, our own BS, our belief systems, and inviting you tonight to go see Trace at the Met. If you are anywhere in Southern California, Trace Austin, the son and my honorary godson, my musical godson, who is performing at the Met tonight, which is amazing. And then July 8th, you're all invited to a multimillionaire's estate in Calabasas. PJ, you might want to fly out here for that. It's amazing. He's giving.
I'm going to live stream some of the show, probably on my IG, because I never go on IG live. But I'm gonna stream some of it so people can see it. He's got a long set this time, so
that's fantastic.
He's got a band, so this is the first time he's playing with a real band. So it's going to be fun.
It's so amazing watching his star grow from a year ago when I met him on the carpet. He's the one that got me backstage to interview Elan's dad, the Temptations that were performing that night. he was on a billboard in New York City, like full length billboard in the middle of it. He's in a movie.
Ago. And he's got some other things coming up that are really cool. You're going to have him back on the show soon than when this stuff comes through. So
absolutely.
And you can get him up in the morning. That's the problem. He's like Sleeping Beauty.
Well, he's truly into the musician's time clock now, for sure. Also, just if you are interested in learning business, finance, all of that at this free workshop, please do go to drmarissa.life, sign up there, and I will put on the subject line John Shin, and then I will send you a link to register. It is free lunch and all of that. Love to have you join us. So let's see, he has amazing and natural stage presence. So Maria is a huge fan of Trace. Thanks to this show. And we're just happy with all of that. All right. So final word, I think we're almost done. As usual, time flies when I'm having fun with Elan in studio. Final word on, should you take your ex back? Do you want to do it? Or do you want me to go first and then you do it?
You go first.
Okay. Final word for me is, if you can see a person brand new and not look through the lenses of what has been done to negatively affect you, it's like cheating or anything that was negative, then yes, take them back. But if you cannot, because it was just so deep and the pain was so debilitating, then don't take them back, because it's not fair to them. I do a pregnancy model of relationships in my book, 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are, from Heartbreak into Love. If you're interested, I'll give a free audiobook copy away to anyone who wants it. The first 3 people, go to drmarissa.life, because a lot of people have these really bad expectations. The pregnancy model, the first 3 months, the first trimester, of course you're in love. Your toes curl. You're happy. Nothing they do is wrong. And then the second trimester, the flip side of everybody, the real side. And the third trimester is when you decide. They're not a bad person. They're just a person that doesn't match you, so that we can take relationships to the next level where we're not always blaming people for what's wrong in my life. They are who they are. You get to decide whether you want to match or not. That's my final word. Go ahead.
Okay, my word is, you should get together and talk about the things that cause the relationship to break up. I think that you can write down goals if you want to move forward, things that happened that made you unhappy. And I think everybody has valid reasons why they were unhappy. No one should sit there and go, well, I don't think that was a big deal. If you felt enough to be upset about it, then that person has to validate, and vice versa. First of all, that should be the first thing you do. And then if you decide to move forward, you need to set boundaries and say, look, this cannot happen again. That cannot happen again. And the minute that if you get back with them and you see them going down that same road, run, because that means that the pattern is going to repeat itself. If you see a pattern repeating itself, then you need to leave. So yes, if you want to go dive back into it, that's fine. But if the minute you see those same signals, you need to run. Don't do it. Most of the time you need to do anyway. There's so many people out in this world. How many billion? 7 billion, 8 billion? You can find somebody else.
And that is it for Final Word on Tempting Conversations with Dr. Marissa and
Elan Carter.
We're so happy you joined us. We are on every Friday. The show is on every weekday morning. I believe I'm on, even though it's a holiday on Tuesday. Thank you so much for making this the Cashew Gallery. We just love you when you come on and have something to say. Counseling helps. I want you to join me every single day to start your day in the most positive way. Thanks, Elan. Love you. We'll see you. I'm going to try to come tonight at the Met. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best holiday weekend.
And eat lots of barbecue. Lots of barbecue.